We made the exchange in Baltimore, and it was a living hell getting out of that ring when I took that belt from Bruno and had cheated by putting my feet. And Vince McMahon Sr. insisted not only do I put my feet on the ropes to cheat, but I put my feet on the top turnbuckle. So every fan in the house knew that I cheated to beat Bruno for the belt. Usually you don't put your feet on the top turnbuckle if you're going to pin somebody and use the ropes for leverage. This is the second turnbuckle, maybe the first one or the second. He said, you put your feet on the top turnbuckle. And when that referee counted 3, all hell broke loose. When they realized that it was for real. And I rolled over, and I got up, and the referee came over and raised my hand, and I had that iconic still photograph. I may not have sent it to you yet, but I will, of the referee with my hand raised with the belt in my hand and the blood pouring down my body. And the fans absolutely were in a frenzy. You're supposed to turn the house lights on in between matches so you can see to get out, because it's very dark in Baltimore. You look at the still photos and some of the video, little lamp type things over the ring, very dark arena. And man, the guy that's supposed to turn the house lights on was watching the deal. He got so into it he forgot to turn the house lights on, so it's dark. And I'm trying to get out of the ring, and all the fans close off the aisle. It's just little ropes anyway, around cement, little barriers, and the fans closed off the exit row. So I rolled the belt up around this right hand, and it had about this much belt showing and pouring blood. And I said, I got to get out of this ring. And I stepped out, and I started swinging that belt, man, like a helicopter blade. And I whacked people. I mean, I hit people with the belt, and people were hitting me. People were kicking me. People were throwing things at me, chairs. It was like a riot trying to get out of that ring. I never had felt that type of intensity in my entire life. Trying to get back to the locker room, I had to fight my way all the way back, all the way, getting kicked, getting punched, getting hit with, I think they were selling bottles of beer at the time, not even cups, chairs, everything imaginable. Little old ladies with fighting fingernail file things, reaching through, stabbing you. And so it was absolute chaos and pandemonium. The word pandemonium really comes into play here. Pure pandemonium broke loose. And I finally got back to the locker room, showered off, got the blood off me, threw my stuff in the bag, cleared out of there. I said, thank you, Bruno, brother. I got to beat the crowd, man. He says, I'll see you, superstar. And, of course, that was the first match after intermission. There was like 5 more matches, and a battle royal to follow to hold the crowd so I could get out of the building. And I ran out the back door, grabbed the first cab I got, man, it was gone.
Why was it in those days that they didn't have the main event on last in the New York territory?
Because I asked that very question, because it was very odd that the main event didn't go on last. And the reason it all happened, putting the main event on early enough so the main event people could get out of the building before the matches were over, was when Pedro Morales was the champion. And all the Puerto Rican fans were coming to the matches. And one day, Blackjack Mulligan was wrestling against Pedro Morales in Boston when Pedro was the champion. And a Puerto Rican fan sitting ringside got up out of his chair, and Blackjack Mulligan was laying on the apron selling for Pedro Morales with his back towards the fans, and come up to the ringside, opened up his blade, and cut Blackjack Mulligan from the hip all the way to the ankle, past the knee, halfway down the calf, cut him to the bone, and just folded his blade, put it back in his pocket, and walked out of the building. And he was wrestling Pedro Morales, and the Puerto Rican fans, a lot of them carried knives. And so that incident, they said, we can't have this. This was early on in Pedro's run as champion. And it was very, very dangerous for the challenger of Pedro Morales, and that sealed the deal. That did it. They said from that point on, we're going to put the main event on early enough so if there is an altercation, at least the heel can get out of the building safely without all the fans waiting at the back entrance. And so that started the main event going on early.
I was with Putski in a match. And something happened, and I did something to them, and everybody was pissed. And they came in the ring and jumping down, and I jumped out of the ring. And back in those days, I mean, the more crazy you acted and swinging, the better chance you had of making it through a crowd because they didn't know what was going on. And they had 4 cops, and this was, I don't know, maybe how many, they had 4 cops, you know, that security. And as I got out of the ring, was walking, some guy punches me in the face. Boom! And I grab him. And when you bastard, I went to hit him, and as I went to hit him, he fell to his knees. So I kicked him in the face because he was down, and out he goes. So the 4 cops who were supposed to be around, because there was no fencing in those days or barriers or anything, just seats. They were flying through the air at me. So the 4 cops there grabbed the guy I just knocked out, and they're dragging him out. And now I'm alone, surrounded, so I'm swinging my way around, and I feel this thing on my head bink, and I look over, it's an 80-year-old guy, he hit me in the head with a steel crutch, and I said, no, I can't hit that old bastard, but he fell over after hitting me with his crutch, and as I was going, the people just stampeded over him, and then it felt like someone kicked me in the ass, like a bruise or a Charlie horse. I'm like, damn it, I spun around, I'm swinging. I finally make it back to the dressing room, and Arnold Skolin, who runs the show, was playing cribbage with somebody. And he goes, hey, it sounded good, kid, how'd it go? Yeah, that's how much they care. And I went, yeah, it went great, but some bastard kicked me right in the ass. And I put my hand back here because it was sore, and I feel something. I go, what in the hell is this? And I pull out a blade about this long. And it was a long, skinny blade, like those wooden Japanese knives that would go together. It was like someone stabbed me in the ass, and when I turned around, I broke the blade off, the handle. So I said, oh my God, it's a knife. It's like, you know, so you're going to get a tetanus shot. Because there was an old trick in the old days where some people would put knife blades in food and let them sit for a few days and then take them out, because if they cut somebody,
like
you would get a bad infection, you know, from all the bacteria.
These were premeditated attacks that these.
Yeah, oh yeah. People they hated me. I mean, it was a feeling. If you could take the audience of today back and put them in the Garden in 1980 and feel what the crowd, you know, it would be night and day.
I've had some clansmen, some young boys, follow me out of town because I was talking to a black woman, and it was his woman. Butch Reed don't come back to this town messing with our women. And he kept running up on me. This was out of Laranger, Louisiana. I popped that pistol again. Fired to Texas. I had a white woman and a half-white woman come back from Houston, ride with me. I had an escort out of town with a few up in there with their rifles and guns sticking out the window. I had to crack another round. And I've never seen them again. But anyway, there's all water under the bridge. And it's funny now, it wasn't funny then, but anyway, I'm just telling you, man, had a lot of heat down in them territories. You hear me? I really did. A whole lot of it.
Yeah, Dennis and Phil was in a ring and nobody could get them out, and you know, there's a lot of hockey sticks over there because they get broke, and I'd grab one up, and I had a lot of fans over there I did hit with hockey sticks. I mean, you know, but they was in the ring and they wasn't gonna let them out, so I took the hockey stick and started swinging it and cleared them away, because that thing makes a bad sound, you know, you know, and it'd get them out enough, and they got out of the ring and got to the dressing room. And I went to Campbellton. I took my wife and daughter over there. I think it's Campbellton, an island over there. And the guy jumped up the ringside and he said, "I'm gonna kill you, Schultz." And I said, well, come on. He started through the ropes, boom, I nailed him. He went on the floor, I jumped out. And just happened his head hit the post after I kicked him and knocked him out. So they bring the paramedics, they ring the bell, bring the paramedics, and I get out of there and get to the dressing room, get a shower real quick shower, and my wife and daughter was trying to get to the car, and they were standing at the back door, and the police wouldn't help them out or anything. So I said, hang on just a minute, let me go get my old hockey stick. I went and got the hockey stick and got them to the car, put them in the car, and took off and hit 2 or 3 people.
Yeah.
But they were just ricocheting off, you know. But that boy was still laying there. The ambulance was taking him off. I don't know what happened to him. Several of them got carried off in ambulances over there.